There's no better way to get better at football than playing football. So if you want to...
Taylor's going to finish it!
I've always been confident in my abilities. I think, I'm a guy that can go out there, and I always believe in myself that I'm going to get open and make the play if they throw me the ball.
The third. Ryan, end zone shot for Pierce. He caught it! Oh, what
a... Hey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colts Cast, part of the Pigskin Podcast Network. We're here to talk about everything and anything Indianapolis Colts. My name is Eric Smith, co-host of the Colts Cast. Alongside me, as always, I have co-host Jamal Lawrence here.
Hey, you done talking about CJ Stroud? I can be back, even though you ain't talk about him.
Jamal is back from vacation off his yacht. Welcome back.
I wish. You see the background still different, so we ain't back yet, but we here. What's up?
He's still on the road, but like I said last episode, the Colts Cast never takes off. No. Look, everyone, if you're on YouTube, please ring that bell with the subscribe button. Don't forget to give us a like and a comment below throughout the video with your thoughts. We love hearing from you guys. That's the best way to support us, and it's completely free. All right. Wow. What a time to be alive as a Colts fan. It started out, the first day of free agency, it was zip, nada, nothing. And then all of a sudden, I think it was Matt Gay that started it off. But, finally free agency is here. A lot has happened, since Monday, since our last episode. Today, we're going to break down every single free agency signing up until Thursday. Re-signing, trade, release, players who found a new home, all of them. Jamal, who should we begin with?
Dun, dun, dun. Let's talk about the one that just happened just a couple minutes ago. Guy, a backup quarterback, goes by the name of Gardner Minshew. That ring a bell to you?
It does. I like him.
Yeah. What he used to play for the Jaguars. He has a little stint down in the AFC South. Then he's since made his way to the Eagles. Sounds familiar? Ties with Shane Steichen. He's been a backup out there.
Somebody now Shane Steichen trusts.
Exactly. And that's what I want. We've been talking about that bridge quarterback, who we need to be that bridge quarterback. Why not bring someone you're familiar with? Getting a face in here. Of course, everybody knows this will not be a starter for us. This is a safety net. It's a blanket. I don't know. I mean, I know Chris Ballard. I know he works funny. And we'll talk about how he works a little later. But this is a safety net, and I'm not mad about it because it's what we need in a situation. We need that bridge quarterback, and we need someone who knows what the expectation is. This isn't someone we have to come in here and groom. He's already been groomed for the past couple seasons in Philly.
Yeah, I think I think he may start a few weeks depending on who we pick up. As far as the draft, we get an AR, Will Levis in there. I don't expect them to start week 1, week 2, week 3, maybe down the line. But Gardner Minshew, I believe, is a high-end backup. I like this pickup. I think it's a smart move. Is Nick Foles, is he still going to be on there?
They need to go ahead and ace him. I don't know what they're waiting on.
I didn't think so. And since we're on quarterbacks, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Matt Ryan. Finally released him. I didn't think they were going to hold on to a quarterback who they benched twice during the season. Inevitable release. He's a shell of his former self. Arm is noodle level. Mobility was non-existent. Offensive line struggles or not, he only exacerbated the issue. It's time to start with the bargain, or it's time to stop with the bargain off quarterbacks. Either draft a rookie QB or find that money in the bank account to sign little Lamar Jackson.
Make it happen, Captain.
Make it happen. We'll see.
Yeah. Next up, though, man, I want to talk about Ashton Dulin for a second. She got signed to that 2-year, $7.2 million. I personally, I'm glad Dulin's back. I do like him. I appreciate what he's done. He got off to a promising start before that foot injury. And I think that had he been in there and his productivity level to continue to climb as it was, he would have been grade A force. At the same time, as happy as I am that he is back, we have to remember that we talked about this 2 episodes ago, where I feel like our wide receiver room has no one who has challenged him. Of course, we were hoping for that Jacoby Myers. He's gone to the Raiders, I believe it was. So we missed out on that one. But this is a time where we need a receiver in the building to show that competition. And I'm not saying that Dulin can't be that guy, because I'm sure he has a chip on his shoulder. He wants something to prove. Now he's probably officially wide receiver number 3 based off some news we'll talk about in a little bit. But but I still need someone in here. I still need him to come in that mentality that he wants to be wide receiver one, although I know that's not his case. Not saying he can't build up to, to what he needs to be, but we need someone else in there. But I am happy to see that he is back because I think that he was on the uptick and he has something to prove.
Yeah, Ashton Dulin, they re-signed him 2-year deal up to 9.2 million. I've always liked Dulin's versatility. He can line up anywhere on the outside or in the slot. He's great on special teams. With new special teams coordinator Brian Mason, I'm sure he's happy about that re-signing. What's not to like? So the signing to me, and it just to me is it was more about Paris Campbell than it was Dulin. So at that time, I was like, dang. They haven't taken care of Paris Campbell. This got to mean something. Why is Ashton Dulin getting a contract before Campbell? Are they still negotiating? Are they considering not retain him? And then we saw Jacoby Myers only get $11 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
He was considered the top wide receiver free agent, in my opinion, on the market. If he's only getting $11 million, what are they going to give Campbell? And then little do we know, Paris Campbell, unfortunately, yep, did not make it. He signed with the Giants. I thought this was interesting, man. Paris Campbell had his first full healthy season out of all his years with the Colts, and now we decide, yeah, you were healthy. I mean, all 17 games, like no hiccups.
Yep.
And we were just like, nah. He only got a 1-year, $3 million contract. You telling me we couldn't hit him with that 3.5 or 4? I'm confused, Jamal. Like you're gonna have to shed some light to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that because when you look at his full contract breakdown with the Giants, I think that the Giants anticipate on only paying him that $3 million or that $2.9 million because he had that 1.4 fully guaranteed base salary, 1.5 signing bonus, 100,000 workout bonus, $100K for every game he's active up to 1.7 million, incentives up to 1.9 million. Here's what I thought was super interesting though. $200K for each level hit. So 4 receptions, $200K, 6 receptions, another $200, 8 receiving touchdowns, another $200K. Next tier for that, 55 receptions, $200K, 65 receptions, $200K, 75 receptions, $200K. Next tier, 700 receiving yards, $200K, 800 receiving yards, $200K, 900 receiving yards, $200K. And then $100K for leading the team in any of the following: receptions, receiving yards, or receiving touchdowns. So all in all, that contract comes out really to like a 6.7 million if he hits everything. But I feel like the Giants fully anticipate him not producing as much because they put a lot of stipulations into this, which makes me wonder what could the Colts have done, because he was willing to take this many stipulations in a contract. We couldn't figure out a way to mimic that or, put a little more change in the pot.
I think he's going to get a lot of targets over there in New York. That wide receiver core is thin. It's not healthy. Like, Sterling Shepard's coming off injury. Wan'Dale Robinson, their rookie, injured. I think they got Isaiah Hot. It's just not there's not a lot of competition. So I do think he will be a starter over there. And I think he will compete for those incentives. So he'll get a lot of those targets. I like Paris Campbell. I did want the Colts to retain him. Looks like that's not the case. I'm pretty sad about that. But like you said, Ashton Dulin stepping up to potentially wide receiver 3. We got to see what happens with the rest of free agency. We also have to see what happens in the draft. I mean, we have a second rounder. We have a third round. I mean, we can find some value wide receivers out there. So, congrats to Ashton Dulin. Congrats to Paris Campbell too. I hope he does well over there. It's just, I wish he would have done well with the Colts. I mean, come on, $3 million. Come on.
I know. You can make that happen. There's always money. There's always. But you know what? Another person that has me nervous, especially after we just signed this defensive end, Samson Ibukum, for a 3-year, $27 million contract. We look at him, during his tenure with the 49ers, he played 32 games, 79 tackles, 9.5 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles. This guy seems like the ideal person for the LEO position in Gus Bradley's defense. And I say that, Eric, because there's a player on our team who's been in that position with Gus Bradley for some time, who averages 8+ sacks a season, who the Colts have not re-signed yet. And it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous because now and you have to remember, although Sam's, he only had the 9.5 sacks over those 32 games. His tackles are high. I'm not going to sit here and flex like we have a Nick Bosa on the other side playing, so I don't know that his productivity will be as high. But one thing that Samson does bring to the table that Yannick does not goes back to that run defense we talked about. Such a low number for Yannick, but Samson brings that to the table. And with him getting a 3-year, $27 million deal, it has me wondering, especially after just watching how the Ashton Doolin and the Paris Campbell situation just kind of went about. Could that mean that Yannick is officially on the chopping block for us?
I would have to say so. It seems like all the players we wanted to retain are not being retained. But I don't see how they sign him to, it's worth a maximum value up to $27 million, 3 years. That's a good amount of money for an edge rusher. I don't see how they fit Yannick in, especially since there were some other players that got chopped off that I was kind of surprised about. But back to Bukum, I thought so. His numbers were low. He only played like half of the snaps for the 49ers. So, he was in the rotation, wasn't really always starting, but he's on the other side of Nick Bosa. I don't think Yannick Ngakoue is returning now. Ballard's been doing some bargain spending. I mean, saving here instead of signing Yannick is probably what, $5 to $6 million in savings potentially. I don't know. Just off Yannick's kind of market value. What would it cost? I don't know. Bukum, I think he is a downgrade in overall production, like just what we've seen on paper in the past. But like I said, hasn't played as many snaps as Yannick, things like that. So, and I like his run stopping game. I think he'll bring some a new element to that.
Oh, 100%. I know you mentioned these upsets, Eric. I mean, should we just go ahead and give a quick shout out to DraftKings while we're talking about upsets? Because I got to tell you, man, I've been watching some March Madness, and I don't know about you, but are you guys ready for the underdogs, the upsets, and the unbelievable action from DraftKings Sportsbook? The biggest tournament in college basketball is here right now, and new customers can bet just $5 on college hoops and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all customers can score a no-sweat bet during round 1 and 2 of the tournament. Go into the app, opt in, and place a no-sweat bet this weekend. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. I don't know if you've been watching today, Eric, but I have had the luxury of watching. There have been 2 upsets. Princeton upset Arizona, as well as Furman upset Virginia.
I called the Furman one.
Did you really?
Yep, I have him in my bracket. Furman.
Nice.
Yep, because I did not think Virginia was great. They play slow basketball. I thought Furman had them on the perimeter. I got it.
Hey. Well, you part of the not 16.6 million of us who had them moving forward. So kudos to you. I think there are gonna be some more. Yeah. Hey, you next up, man. I gotta know. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with code TPPN. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, win or lose. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TPPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Who are we talking about next, man?
All right, next up, let's go ahead and address the biggest elephant in the room. I think that we have to. It goes by the first guy we signed, a kicker named Matt Gay from the Rams. 4 years, $22.5 million, record-breaking deal for a kicker. What is Chris Ballard doing? What's he thinking? Talk to him, Eric.
Man, you know what he's doing. I mean, yeah, it's $22.5 million contract over 4 years. My goodness is what happens when you hear that, because it makes you wonder, like, is Matt Gay one of the highest paid players on our team? I think he's like top 10 now. Like, if we're talking about like, cumulative contract value. From an accuracy standpoint, he's top 5 in the league, 93.3% last year. Very accurate on 50-yard kicks, making 7 of his 8 attempts last year. As long as it was a 58-yarder, he's got a cannon. He's got a cannon in that. So he's accurate. He's got a cannon. He's a really good kicker. All in all, it might seem like a lot for a kicker, but no more worrying about this position. We shouldn't have to talk about a kicker every single week.
Yep.
It shouldn't be the case. Not to shit on kickers or anything, but it's just, I mean, you're there for certain plays and we expect you to make the kicks. That's kind of what it is. We don't want to talk about it. But Chase McLaughlin, I actually thought they would resign him, but he was only decent. So I don't think Ballard wanted decent at this position. Matt Gay was stellar with the Los Angeles Rams. I just think the only way this deal backfires is if he regresses, becomes Rodrigo Blankenship's shadow. Otherwise, you insert this guy on the 2021 Colts team, we're in the playoffs, in my opinion. He's going to give us the edge in games that we need. And we got to be able to trust our kicker from any range. It's not an earth-shattering impact signing, but we can be happy about this.
100%. I like what you said, any range. We know how big our problems were with getting downfield. We knew that we had to make sure we were within the 50-yard field goal for Chase, just to play it safe. So I like the fact that we have a Matt Gay now who can come in here and hit those kicks for us. Hopefully our offense obviously is way more productive than it was last year, to where he's only going to be banging out extra points for us. But we need that in case of emergency guy to be there. And that's one I can trust. And I'm not worried about him when he steps in the field. Like you said, as long as he doesn't regress, I think that he's going to do exactly what he came here to do. And why not give some guy like him indoors to kick? I mean, it just makes life so much easier, and we need it.
I like it.
But I got a question for you, because I know we got a couple more people to talk about. But do you think Chris Ballard, what's his plan? I mean, what's his plan? We're letting some of our good guys go. We're definitely going to talk about those guys, but I feel like besides Minshew, which just happened, and Matt Gay, I mean, what do you think? Because we all know, all Colts fans know, the eyes are on the quarterback. But I think Chris has kind of slipped under the radar because everyone's expecting quarterback. To now, I feel like he still hasn't shown us or told us what he wants or what he expects. So I'm still a little nervous about that. I can't let him off the hook just because, we got a kicker now, or we picked up a backup quarterback. I just still feel uneasy about his situation.
Yeah, he hasn't shown his hands. I don't know if he has pocket aces or 2-7. We're not even on the flop yet. I mean, we still got the draft. We still have the rest of free agency. Mixed signals right now. Mm-hmm. On one hand, you could say we're clearing cap space. Are we making room for a big signing? On the other hand, is he just clearing house with some older veterans? Just kind of retooling, not necessarily blowing the whole thing up, but hey, we don't need you anymore because we're not contending next year. But in a year or two from now, maybe. I don't know yet. I haven't made my decision on that. The draft will be really telling. If he makes a blockbuster signing, that would be really telling. Things like that. So I'm still in the mixed signals portion of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I tell you, one person I am glad that he did bring back. That's a guy by the name of EJ Speed, 2-year, $8 million contract. I think that's a value. That's a steal for us. He coming off his best season as a Colt, 63 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 1 sack. Think his role is going to significantly increase now with Okereke gone to the Giants. We knew he was going to go. Well, I shouldn't say we knew he was going to go, but we knew he was going to be looking for money. Okereke was in that contract year. We talked about that at the beginning of the season and how important it was for him to ball out. And he felt he could do more. That 4-year, $40 million, I think, of the Giants. Good for him. But I'm glad to see EJ Speed back because he's shown that he wants to grow. And one thing about our linebacker core that I've noticed over the past couple of years is our coaching system has been able to develop linebackers. We get these guys, these Zairs, these EJs, these Shaq Leonards and Okerekes, and they just get better each year. So I don't really truly fear too much about losing an Okereke. Of course, I don't want to lose, someone who can get me 80, 90 tackles a season, but I have full trust that whatever linebacker is in there can learn the ropes and we can coach them up to where they need to be because our linebacker core has been consistent.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Shout out to Cato June and Richard Smith, our linebackers coach and assistants linebackers coach. I mean, they're the ones back there doing the uncredited work. So I appreciate them. Back to EJ Speed. I agree with you, Jamal. A+ re-signing. Strong special teams player. He played the most snaps on special team than any other player. again, Brian Mason's going to love him, love retaining him. Great rotational linebacker. We'll see what his role looks like this year, especially with Okereke out, but because he only played like a quarter of the defensive snaps last season. So got some good stats, 2 forced fumbles, 7 tackles for a loss in that limited snap count. So EJ Speed got next up. But Bobby Okereke, we kind of saw the writing on the wall. There was no way we could sign all these linebackers to, absurd amount of money just because we already have Shaquille Leonard booked up for a lot of our cap space. So and linebacker is not a premium position. It's something, it doesn't have the highest value. You need value players at the linebacker position because those positions don't get paid as much as other positions. So we have too many good linebackers, can't pay them all. Okereke is now New York Giant, 4-year, $40 million deal, well deserved. I felt like he improved every year as a Colt. He was out there almost every snap this season, tearing it up against the run game. It's not a Shaquille Leonard type of linebacker, but he was a stud. So I wish him well over there in NFC.
For sure. And another special teams player we just got back. I like this, a 1-year, $1.2 million by the name of Tony Brown. Special team standout, man. I like him. I was glad to see he's back, kind of the same role as EJ, where he was a big factor for us on special teams. And that's one thing I do enjoy when our players can take that role, because as we know, man, the 53-man roster, everyone's not going to get that shot. So if your opportunities on special teams, you got to come out and ball out when you can. You can't be lackadaisical just because you're in special teams, because you never know what's going to happen to where you need to. We're going to need you. We're going to need you to step up. And coaches pay attention to everything that's going on. They watch film day in and day out. So if you're on, you're on the field messing around, lollygagging, not hitting your assignments, they watch that. Tony Brown, a sleeper for us there that we've been watching him on special teams. He's been a standout. So Colts said, hey, let me go ahead and pay you another 1-year, $1.2 million, which I think is an extreme value, and I'm glad to see him back.
Yeah, I'm glad to see him back only because our cornerback depth has gotten a little skinny. They've been trimming that portion up. But yeah, I'm okay with the Tony Brown signing. I got to see what he does. He may be a sleeper. He may not be. But we'll see. Yeah.
So, all right. So you mentioned they've been trimming. Did anybody go to Dallas by chance from the cornerbacks?
This one hurt, man. This one
hurt. Yeah, this Gilly Lock, bro.
This guy literally won us football games. And we only had 4 wins last year. When it came down to the wire, y'all saw the Broncos game. Y'all remember the Raiders game. But yeah, the Colts traded Gilmore to the Dallas Cowboys for a 5th round compensatory pick. Damn, that really I saw that. I was like, dang, it's over. He was one of my favorite players of the past season. But it's a smart move. We aren't contending. We save almost $10 million in cap space. He'll be 33 in September. I guess it was time to move on. I mean, Gilly Lock was crazy good last season. Arguably top 5 when you take into account the value we got from him relative to his pay. I've been saying cornerback was going to be a position that the Colts need to address this offseason, and this trade just makes it a little worse. We have to draft cornerbacks. Ballard likes to draft cornerbacks. It's coming. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah, you're spot on. He definitely is going to have to get somebody. I mean, we just let a true vet get out, from underneath us. Someone who a leader. That's what I like about him. He's a leader, man. He showed these young guys the ropes. And not only that, he came to work and did his job every day and did it well, no matter who he was on. So this definitely hurts to see him go to Dallas. And like you said, though, I get it. I understand it. But it's definitely one where we're already thin in that department. I would have liked to see him stay, at least for that last year out of that 2-year contract. But I think I know somebody who you probably ain't too mad that they're gone. Your boy went to the Raiders, Brandon Faison.
Went right back to the Raiders. Yeah, I don't know one Colts fan that was a Brandon Faison fan, and he wasn't good by any measure. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure fans were rejoicing on Twitter when they got the news that he wasn't going to be retained. I mean, they started playing music. It was crazy. But look, yeah, Faison wasn't liked by the fan base. He didn't play well. I'm glad he wasn't retained. So we'll see if he's better as a Raider. I don't know, but I've seen too much of Brandon Faison.
Hey, I second it. I don't have anything to add to him, but I second it. Looks like another one we had, defensive tackle, Taven Byron, 1 year, $4.5 million. He'll definitely be a death piece for us behind D-Buck. I just see him kind of hopping in on a couple plays, and D-Buck is tired, not retired, but it's tired. But I feel like we've been going through this whole spring of ends and tackles over the past couple of years with injuries and or just unproductive, getting dropped to the practice squad, just getting released. So I don't know what the deal is, especially where this Gus Bradley defense is supposed to thrive. We look at D-Buck, we look at Grove. These two are two strong, solid guys. So, and I keep seeing that I feel like every time we turn around, we're getting another D tackle or getting a D in. I'm not understanding the full thing behind it. I understand we got to have some depth, but Jesus, I feel like we have not been consistent there as far as backups go.
Yeah. This sucks because, Yannick Ngakoue is probably not getting retained. So we're going to have to lean on DeForest Buckner, Kwity Paye, Grover Stewart, and Samson Ibuku. And then I think Dio is another bright spot, Dio Denebo on our line. But then after that, like we've had some bust out there. Taven Bryan, he was a starter last season for Cleveland. I don't think he really did much over there. But so I think he's definitely not starting for us. But we'll see what he does in his rotational role for the Colts. I'm okay. Give him a 1 year shot, just like he did in Cleveland. See what he does,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know it's hard to prove yourself on a 1 year contract. So like, I'm not the biggest fan of 1 year deals just because I think that it like you have to learn a new system, learn the coaches, learn the players and all this stuff. And you have to do this over the course of essentially 17 weeks. So there's 17 games. I know that they're year round, but let's be real. So it's kind of hard to evaluate a person off that. So I'm hoping that he's productive for us when he's in there, but definitely, it's something where I just like to explore the options of, if we're going to do something like that, either figure out a way to give somebody 2 years or figure out how to keep someone in-house and develop more. But, it's what it is. Who else you got?
Tyquan Lewis. Re-signed him 1 year, again, $2.1 million contract. This actually makes sense. So 1 year deal for Tyquan Lewis. Only played 15 games in 2 seasons. Availability is the best ability. He hasn't even played a full season cumulatively over the past 2 seasons. That's concerning. But what's perfect about this deal is, look, we're going to have you on a 1 year deal, and you can show us, A, your knees are healthy, not only healthy, but good to go long term. And B, you're going to continue to be an impact player in the rotation on the defensive line this season. But we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. And that's when I don't care about a 1 year contract. Like I said, he had a chance to prove himself already. So get them knees healthy and show you want to be here. You can be on the chopping block. So you can see all of our D linemen are expendable. So show up and show out or go home.
Yeah. We'll see. It's been a decent free agency for us. Looks like Orlando Brown got picked up by the Bengals. Jacoby got picked up. Yannick's probably not getting retained. So our 3 targets are out the window.
Bye-bye.
But, I don't know. We might have a splash signing. It may just be the old, Ballard just sits there and doesn't really do much. Doesn't get too aggressive, which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine to an extent. I don't know. I guess Colts fans, man, we just saw the turn of the tide. So we want to continue to see and thrive, especially when you see these names. And we can't have everybody. We obviously know that. But when you see these names pop up nonstop throughout the day, you're just like, dang. You see that. So again, Ballard may have something in mind come draft time. And I know that's how he rolls. But I just don't want to get so stuck on the value picks with him. Like I want that controversial. I want that big name. I'm tired of hearing the let me do my job. This is the way it's been, because we see that these teams, the Bengals, who we know just a perfect example. They picked up Orlando Brown. They're going to pay him because guess what? They can't afford to keep paying everybody else. So unless they let some of these big guys, some of their superstars go, so they're going to pick up this lineman to help build them up because they're probably going to be losing a couple of their offensive players, as this year goes on or next year goes on, because they got to continue to build that cap space. So they're going to make these signings that they need. So I just really feel like the Colts need a chance to come out and get that one or two big names. Of course, we all want Lamar. We know that. Colts going to pay him. Not everyone. Yeah, you're right. But Colts going to pay him $240 million guaranteed. No, I don't see that happening. But can they figure something else? I don't know. I just want to see a splash name pop up and just be like to have a good smile for the day. When I saw Matt Gay, as excited as I am to have a kicker, when I saw that don't light up my eyes the way if I was the Raiders and I just got Jacoby Myers, or if I'm the Bengals and I just got Orlando Brown. So yeah, that's just my take.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I hope we do make some splash signings, but we got to see what this organization is headed for. Are we headed for retool, rebuild? Are we going to sign somebody big now and try to contend like just this year? I don't know what's going to happen, so we'll see. But look, everyone, that's going to be it for us. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Y'all have a good weekend.